During Donald Trump's inauguration, there were mass arrests of anti-Trump protesters. But there is an interesting development in this story. It turns out that the prosecution has dropped charges against core anti-Trump protesters. And part of the reason why is because they were found to be withholding evidence in the case and also using edited videos in order to prove their case. Let me give you the details. Prosecutors moved to dismiss their own case against a half dozen people the government has sought to imprison for decades for their roles in planning a 2017 anti-Trump march. So the case relied heavily on videos provided by the right-wing hoax group Project Veritas. Prosecutors now stand accused of hiding some 69 separate video and audio recordings that provided by that group from defense counsel, including material the lawyers say would have helped their clients. So there was evidence proving the innocence of these defendants. They withheld that evidence, and they also used edited videos by Project Veritas, a right-wing group of people. So,
yeah. So let me explain a couple of things here. First, they kenneled 200 people in and arrested all of them, and they were going to charge all of them. And it was, of course, to teach people a lesson. Don't protest Donald Trump, okay? Now, Washington police actually used to be very lenient because it makes sense. We have a First Amendment right to protest, especially in our capital. But under Trump, they immediately turned on a dime and said, we don't care if you're the ones who threw rocks or did any kind of those violations, and we don't care if we don't have evidence on you. We're going to arrest you all, and you might go away for decades. Now, then they realized we're going to have trouble proving this. So they let go of a bunch of them. They held on to 59 of them. And then for those 59, they said, no, these guys, we got them, okay? And several times during the case, the judge asked, is there any other videos? And the prosecutor said, no, there is no other videos, when she knew there was over 60 other videos. And in fact, in the videos, they're charged with planning a violent protest, right? In the videos that she withheld, they say, now remember everybody, don't do violence. I mean, that prosecutor should immediately be fired and disbarred and should never practice law again. Let me give you her name, Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Kirchhoff. I mean, she was already doing something deeply unconstitutional, in my opinion, and un-American by trying to punish innocent protesters without evidence. But it turns out she hid the evidence, and she knew they were innocent all along. And she kept on pressing the case. And they were using doctored video from Project Veritas.
It's insane. And remember, these protesters were facing decades in prison. Decades.
She was willing to take away their freedom, knowing that they were innocent. I mean, look, I think there's a case to be made that you should lock her up. But is there going to be any consequences for anyone in power?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was nominated as some district judge, or who knows? Who knows what the future holds with someone like Trump in charge? But again, I mean, think about this. These are innocent people, and you are dealing with a prosecutor who is willing to tamper with evidence, withhold evidence, and use doctored, edited videos from a right-wing group to prove the case. And I'm so happy that she got caught and that these charges will be dropped. And remember, look, I want to be clear about one other thing. Not all of the protesters were completely innocent. No one is saying that. There were definitely protesters who caused property damage, and those people should be brought to justice with a due process. But to, accuse people and go after people that you know are innocent and withhold evidence. I mean, you're right, Cenk. She should be the one who now faces serious charges for what she did, because she could have robbed people, innocent people, of their lives.
Since we don't know who threw the rocks and the prosecutors don't know who threw them either, by the way, Project Veritas was there. They were taping. Are you positive they didn't throw the rocks and then say, go arrest all these people, even though they have tape of them saying don't do violence, right? Well, that's why you do due process. That's why we live in America, where we have rights and we have a constitution, because it might turn out that you didn't do it. Someone else did it. Now, I don't know that Project Veritas did it. And unlike them, we don't lie. We don't go around and go, oh, I have evidence, and here's doctored tape of that guy throwing a rock, and it turns out it's not him, right? But look at the people in power. when you have a group like Project Veritas, which has shown over and over again that they doctor tapes, that's their MO, that's what they do every time, right? The government says, oh yes, of course, Project Veritas, we'll use it in court to imprison people. We'll use their videos to imprison people. Imagine if Antifa had tapes and they went to prosecutors.
Oh my God.
They'd be like, Antifa. And they'd burn the tapes. They wouldn't even look at them.
Right, look, and you know what? We would be critical of that as well. But that's the thing. You know, we're people who want to play fair. These are people who want to throw innocent individuals in prison for decades. By the way, prosecutors are not going to give up. They're going to dismiss the felony charges without prejudice, meaning they'd be free to bring new case with different evidence in the future. Defense counsel objected, arguing that the judge should bar future prosecutions tied to the protest actions. And I completely agree with what the defense attorney is saying.
Jennifer Kirchhoff should be disbarred immediately. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below.